You will never be judged by somebody doing more than you, only somebody doing less. I've made the mistakes in social media so that other people don't have to. It's no longer about you driving the ship, it's about how can you take care of everybody else. Followers don't matter. Retention and watch time are your two best friends. AI should be used as a catalyst, not as a solution. People now more than ever are yearning for authenticity. A lot of people say money can't buy happiness. By itself, I don't think it can, but I think it can buy the environment to curate happiness. Seeing them work their butts off to give me that created this mindset of it would be a disservice for me not to work and create something the same. I think that delusion's an amazing thing because something that has not been done before is going to seem impossible.
Am I the only one shivering, by the way? I'm always the baby back bitch in the tub. Welcome to today's episode of Cold Tub Talks. We've got Sam Naidu-Kin, who is an owner of Media Wolf Marketing Agency. Sam, tell us why we should even hear from you, because at 21 years old, a lot of people would write a guy off like yourself. We know why you're here, but tell others why we should even listen to you.
I say a lot. I have a PR answer and a real answer. My PR answer is we've gone through with 6 years of experience, and if you look for the number, don't look at me when you look at it, look at our numbers. My real answer is I've made every single mistake in the book, at least for where I'm at now. And for my business, the business that I have grown, we're working in social media, and so I've made the mistakes in social media so that other people don't have to. Because I'm sure with every other business, you have other logistical concerns, you have pretty much everything else on your plate. Let me make the mistakes in this field so you can be sure of what you're going into.
And when you say mistakes, what kind of mistakes did you make that most people are probably making watching this that they could kind of fix?
I'd say the biggest mistake I made in terms of business or social media?
Let's do one of each.
Oh, perfect. So for social media, I'd say the biggest mistake I made is quitting on accounts too early. I've had a lot of accounts that were, you see the meme all the time about you're digging for gold and you're right there and you decide to quit. And we've had a lot of accounts where it's like we're consistently not getting views or we're consistently, struggling a little bit. And then all of a sudden it only takes one video. And that one video, you're like, oh, well, it's a 90-second clip. Maybe it'll do well, maybe it won't. But that 90 seconds could change the trajectory of not only your social media, but your brand in general. And business mistakes, I wouldn't even know where to start. This would be my third business. So going into it, my first ever one was I did a little bit of branded drop shipping. So I had some small brands here and there. It was nothing crazy, but, in middle school and then going into high school, making 20K is a lot. So I just didn't think to myself, hey, what am I, investing it back in and throwing it back in, all I was thinking was, hey, I have 20K in my pocket. Yeah. And so I ended up making mistakes there. And then COVID hit. That's kind of when the craze started to die a little bit. And then I moved on to a clothing brand because I wanted to go more into the branding. I wanted something that was my own. And it wasn't just, hey, I'm just taking products that somebody else made and throwing a new label on them. And then going into the clothing brand, I started doing mock-ups, I started creating everything, and then global shutdown. And a lot of the clothes I got were from Bangladesh, were from China, like all of the Asian countries. And so that pretty much tanked that company. And then Media Wolf started off as just the meta ads agency when that was trending. So I built that up, and then I went to school. It kind of all came crashing down. I lost a business partner. Nothing bad. He just wanted to go into a different field. He decided business was not for him. And then...
Been there.
Yeah, it's not for everybody, is what I'll say. Like, people are like, well, everybody wants to make money and everybody wants to grow and create this thing, but not everybody is built for doing it.
Hell yeah, that's why we're here, man. That's why you're on the show. Yeah. So you were referencing that meme earlier. I think I know the exact one you're talking about, and I've referenced it many times, where the guy is digging. He's like 99% of the way through the tunnel, and he's got a thin wall before he breaks through. And he's like giving up.
Yeah.
But he's right there.
Exactly.
And the other guy is like miles away, but he's still freaking plugging away.
Yeah.
Is that the way you're referring to?
Exactly. And with social media, it goes that tenfold because all of the videos you create on your account, they stay there. So, you create a YouTube video, you create a short, and it's not like, oh, it's a one and done thing. Those stay on your page. So when you have that one video that blows up, that first video, people are like, oh, who is this person? And they look back at all your old stuff. And so what we're finding is a lot of accounts, like we've had posts that go out and they're like 100, 200 views, and we're like, what happened here? And then a month, 2 months later, we have a viral post, and all of a sudden, all of our views jump. And including that 100 view video, maybe it goes to 10K, maybe it goes to 20K. That's like, that's not a video that we thought was going to do well.
Sure.
We wrote it off.
Sure. Now, you mentioned your failures in multiple businesses, and at 21, you've got your team here behind the scenes. So when it comes to them and even people you've worked with prior, have your failures not just affected you, but the others around you?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I feel like when you're creating something like this, it's a lot of pressure on you. When you're first starting, it's like, hey, it's fun, right? Like, I'm doing this, I love this. And then you start
Of course, usually always starts as a hobby or an interest, right?
And then you start to add pressure of like, okay, well, now I have 1 staff member, now I have 2 staff members, now I have rent, now I have all of these other responsibilities. And it's no longer about you driving the ship, it's about how can you take care of everybody else. Because that is your job at the end of the day.
Yeah, you're providing now.
Exactly. And when you're building something, you become a provider of, well, and me and Trevor, my partner, have had this conversation all the time of like, how can we take care of our people? Because there's ups and downs of business, and there's going to be moments where I make jokes about it. Being broke in a business and being broke in a job is a little different.
Yeah,
sure. You got a paycheck
100%.
coming in.
Yeah.
Personal and business is totally
like,
different.
The next 6 months, I don't know if I clear anything.
Yeah.
And we joke about all the time. Well, not joke, but we talk about all the time about like, how can we take care of everybody else and make sure that they're all good?
Yeah.
And how can we keep this moving as much as possible?
Yeah. So in this ever so popular industry that you're in now, what patterns do you notice companies and content creators doing to hold people's interest?
Are we talking in terms of like posts and social media?
Yeah. Or even commercials. You think of any avenue of marketing. What are companies and the best creators doing to keep people pulled in time after time for the right amount of length to actually produce a quality result?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with people go into social media thinking a lot about me, a lot about what do I want to see, what do I want to create, when in reality it's a service industry. You are going into it talking to the viewer. You're going into it like, what do they want to see? Because it doesn't matter how good and how pretty it looks and how amazing you think the video is if nobody else thinks that it looks like that,
Yeah.
So people like to forget that the algorithms and all of this talk, it's consumer centric. It's, I want to create a service or a product for a viewer, and it's not just about what do I think would do well. And people don't like to test that. People don't like to take that hit of their ego of, oh, I thought that video was going to be amazing. It's just the algorithm, or it's just the hashtag.
So are you simply saying from a company or content creator's standpoint, you need to put your mind in the position of the consumer?
Exactly. It's one of those things where you got to see, why would they even follow you? You have to ask that real question of why. Like,
Yeah. So do you think that's a common problem? Do you think a lot of companies and creators are thinking what they'd want to see?
I think
Like what they want to create? Are they creating what they want to create instead of literally, as simple as this sounds, putting themselves in the consumer's shoes and saying, what do they want to see? Do you think people still have that simple concept not down?
Yeah, and we've worked with clients in the past where we've talked to people and we're like, hey, this is what we know does well. We've shown the numbers and we're like, hey, we've done this format, we've done this series. And they're like, I don't think so. It doesn't resonate with me. I want to change the script. And I feel like, and this goes a little bit more towards older brick and mortar businesses that are a little bit off of the digital atmosphere. They tend to be like, well, I want this polished view of me, when in reality, people want authenticity. People want to connect with your brand. And
Someone behind the scenes agrees.
but people want to connect with your brand, and they don't want to just see, oh, I'm a roofing company or I'm a concrete company and I'm just pouring concrete. They want to create characters, create a story, something that they can commit to. Or
Yeah, sure.
reinvest
But
in.
even speaking on authenticity, like we struggle with this many times, which is why we have a lot to learn from you as well. But when we create content, sometimes you're so passionate and you're so involved in your industry that we're talking about the metabolism, the reverse diet, and how everyone can bulletproof their body and fat-proof themselves for life. And then we're told by some people, yeah, but no one wants to hear that. It's boring. Your knowledge basis is so far beyond where they are. That's not even an interesting piece of information. They're going to scroll right past you because it doesn't resonate. doesn't make sense with where they're at. So even as the content creators, we sometimes forget what we're sharing, even though it's valuable and it's so impactful, people still don't give a shit. And in a world of short form media where you have to have their attention immediately, it's really tough, even if you know your shit, to create good content.
100%. And I talk about it a lot. There's a knowledge gap between you and the people you're talking to. And a lot of companies forget that. A lot of brands forget that because of the fact that it's so into your day-to-day, you know? Like in your field, I'm sure we talk about metabolism, we talk about all of these biomechanics.
Yeah, good
they're
freaking
so
stuff.
normal in your day-to-day, right? So when you talk about that stuff, it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. You know, you talk about it with your peers, the people that agree with you, they're like, yeah, it makes sense. Then you go online and these people are like, well, I'm just getting into fitness and now I have to talk about biomechanics and I have to go through all of this. Like it can get overwhelming.
Yeah, right. It's
And
watered
so-
down, boring.
Exactly. And people are like, well, I don't have any content ideas. And it's like, you do have content ideas. Your day-to-day is all content ideas.
For sure.
Every conversation you have, if you can simplify it down to a third grader's understanding, and that's not to say that viewers are dumb, that's more to say so that more people can grasp and connect with what you're saying. Then you can succeed with content because people are like, oh, that makes so much more sense. This guy actually gets it and he's explaining it to me instead of, oh my God, this guy is so much like information. He's just throwing keywords out there and I don't even know what he's trying to say.
Right.
Yeah. So if people are struggling making content, what would you say is like 3 big pieces that they could get better engagement, better views, like just to fix things that are broken right now? What would be 3 tips to help them get started?
I think the first thing you have to do is sit down and think about what your intention is for content. Going into creating content, we talked about this a little bit earlier, where it's like, you know, if I'm creating content that I just want out there for publicity, right? Cluely does a really good job at this, where they make these skits and they make these like, the startup is the series they call it, and it's stuff that people like that don't use their brand, or it's just so that they can see it, you know? It
Okay.
creates,
Would
like,
you consider Mr. Beast that, the biggest YouTuber out there? Is that the kind of content he creates?
I think at first, I think Mr. Beast is a whole other like thing. He does
Okay.
the amount of
Didn't mean to
research-
derail you.
No,
but
that's perfect. The amount of research and like the amount of data and science that goes into his content that people don't see is insane. You can actually look it up. They released a couple documents about like a guide on how they first started. His content is like, there's so many tiers to the way he does what he does. It's very impressive. But yeah, in a sense, he didn't start the pages to sell things. I mean, like Feastables came out later, but most of it was just entertainment. And people forget that social media
Yeah, that's what I'm
is
saying.
entertainment, it's value, or what can I give to a viewer.
Yeah.
All right.
Kevin.
What 2 other tips would you give for someone?
sorry.
I told you I'd derail you.
Train of thought there. So I think my other tip is when you go into content, go into it knowing that you're not going to be good at it at first, and go into it knowing that you're going to have to test things. I think that a lot of people try to perfect every single video, and it's like, it's not, you know, if you're sitting there tweaking a video for 6 hours versus the guy that posts 20 times and kept consistently with it, you're going to learn over repeated action. So going through and being like, okay, well, this isn't perfect, the lighting is off, blah, 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 like just post it.
Yeah.
And I
See,
think-
everyone knows that, but everyone still does it.
Exactly.
It's like trial and error is part of the game, but the perfection is part of our minds, especially as business owners when you're harnessing your own baby. We've all done it. It's like you don't want to do it unless it's perfect. And the people that are beating you are the ones that are saying, don't fucking care.
Yeah, because you're going to
doing
learn
it.
in repetition. Like you're going to learn by just being there and being like, okay, well, there's a creator online that does, he really advocates for 30 videos a day for 30 days. And that's a lot when people think about it. 30
Is it
days
1 piece of content a day?
No, 30 pieces per day.
Oh, per day.
Yeah.
You said 30 pieces in 30 days. I'm like, oh, that's not.
That's a lot of content. And his whole thing about it is it's not going to be good when you start out, but you are going to learn your voice. You're going to learn what's working, what's not working, and what you can double down on. It's a method. It's a scientific method where you have to go and you have to test these things, figure out what your viewer wants, and figure out, hey, is this the viewer persona I want to go for?
Yeah.
What do they want?
Okay. So companies that have one interest or the other, what would you say deciphers the difference between getting quality leads and views? Because I've heard a lot of people, when they go to create content, they don't even know what they're creating the content for. They don't know if it's good content for views or leads, and we've been there too. So is there a difference between the two and how to start off?
I think it's specificity. I see we had one of our pages, we had a content creator come to us, and he's got like 50K on Instagram, he's got like 30K on TikTok, like he's a pretty decent sized creator, and he's like, hey, I have all these views, I'm averaging, in the 50s to 100,000 views per video, I'm not getting a single sale, right? And the concept it comes down to is you have to be specific with your content. Because if I made a YouTube video and let's say, talk about meta ads, right? And I made a bunch of how-to videos on meta ads walking through like, okay, here's how you set up an account. Here's how you set up a campaign. Here's what my strategy is for the campaign. And then a lot of people aren't going to watch that, but the people that are interested in creating meta ads. And so then when you present the offer, you already know that though it's highly targeted,
Sure.
and you're not going to get millions of views from it, the people that are there, that's what they're there for.
Sure, and then the business side of me geeks out on that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if it's just 100 people that are interested. Like, those are 100 quality-ass leads.
Exactly, and it's
Yeah.
aligning the offer with the values of the content. Because, again, you can post something for 1 million views and get 0 sales. And we've seen it time and time again like that.
Yeah. I think most people just worry about how many views they're getting. They're like, why did I only get 2,000 views? But out of those 2,000 views, you could still have 10 hot leads from that 2,000 views versus you have something that goes viral, you get 1 million views, but not a single person's interested.
Exactly, it's just entertainment.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a good idea about this. I forgot I stole this, but I forgot who I stole it from. It's the value ladder. And
Okay.
It's talking about, okay, like if you can get them to commit 5 seconds, you got to figure out how to get them to commit 10. And then if you can figure out how to get them to commit 10 seconds, you can figure out 30. And from 30, and that's short form content, going into long form content of like, hey, let's now watch 40 minutes of me, a podcast of me, a video of me, and now let's hop on a 10-minute call with my guy. All of a sudden, you've built rapport for 2 hours, and they've committed, okay, well, from 5 seconds, well, you know what, what's another 10? What's another minute? What's another 20 minutes? And you build all of this rapport before you even step foot on the phone, or before you even pick up the phone.
Sure.
And so that's what I think the
feel like they
content
already know
is
you.
best for. Yeah. And so that's where you want to go specificity with the content.
Am I the only one shivering, by the way?
I'm good.
You're good?
Feeling good? You're staying still.
even look like you're in freaking water like
I'm just staying still.
I was noticing a little chatter. I was like,
Yeah, I'm chattering. I'm always the baby back bitch in the tub. He's on his
wait,
knees, by the way.
I
Can you
swear
believe
on
he can? Yeah. You
I was
just,
told I can't swear.
really? Who
I was
told you
to
that?
watch out.
No, I broke that code. But sometimes we even get confused as a fitness company mixing ourselves in with all the other programs when we're really trying to change high performers' lives, because high performers can help others change their lives because they have employees, they're influencing people. They have folks that are looking up to them. So we don't want to create content like others. We want to impact one high performer after another because we know they have a trickle effect in their downline.
And so then your branding should shift between, like for a lot of these programs, they're like, oh, lose belly fat, have the body you want, like that type of stuff. That's not always the concern for high performers. You know, their concern is how, like we see it with the wave of biohacking, how can we, increase the amount of, how can we increase productivity? How can I feel the best so I can get the most done?
Yeah.
And so you can shift at an angle of like, and we run some of the ads this way where we separate the angles and we think, okay, well, one angle is performance. People
Yeah.
that are focused on that, because at the end of the day too, with a lot of business owners, it's less of an ego thing when you're up there because you built a lot. A lot of them have the pretty girl, they have the cars, everything else. It's more of a what can I do to get better? And so when you shift the angle that way, it creates a little bit more specialized content.
Is Sam making an ad for us right now?
I think so.
I think he is. I think after we get out of these cold ass tubs, we're gonna transition to a coaching session
my gosh.
in the chairs.
You just break it down. And the other thing with that is another angle to hit is like, okay, well, maybe you're on camera all the time.
All right.
You want authority, the body builds you the authority because the body is one of the only sets of discipline where I can't buy it. I can't buy at least now, not now, when the podcast comes out, but I can't buy a new body, right? I have to actually put the work in. I can pay for as many trainers, as many diets as possible, but at the end of the day, something has to get done.
Yeah, that's why we love this shit. There's no cheat code, but we can make it as simple as possible.
Exactly.
100%.
And there's an authority aspect of it that you can hit where it's like when you walk into a room and you are fit and you have the posture and you are confident in your own skin, think about how you can shift a board meeting. Think about how you can shift a room. And so you shift the angle from, lose weight fast to how can this benefit my specific target?
Ooh, that's it right there.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the highlight of the cold tubs portion. And if I didn't already have the goosebumps, I'd have them right now. All right, should we transition?
We're good.
Let's get out of these things, man.
He was waiting. He's like, okay, when's he done talking? All right. Well, welcome back, everyone. My question for you, Sam, is it stupid for people not to use social media if they own a business in today's world?
Yes, I think that right now, especially, people talk about referrals a lot, like, our business is referral based, or our business is this. But like when you meet a person for the first time, right now, the jerk reaction is to go look them up. Like I remember when I met Tyler for the first time, my thought is, okay, who is Tyler Kelly? So I'm going to go and I'm going to look them up. And if you're coming across as, let's say you own, InstaShred, let's say you're coming up as Tyler Kelly, law or something. Like if you don't own that presence, then people are going to have a hard time trusting you and looking you up because you're not there. So I think that social media acts as a catalyst for pretty much every other form of marketing. I think it's the same thing with paid ads where, you see a paid ad a couple times and you're like, okay, this is pretty cool. And then you click on their profile and they have one video. Are you really going to trust them? Like that's kind of the effect that I think that building that social media base, even though, views don't always equal dollars, building that kind of following puts value into businesses.
Yeah. So it's similar to like a job application when they do a background check.
Exactly.
On you. People, before they invest in you or buy something from you, they want to do a background check to know a little bit more about you, who you are, if they like you, and if they want to purchase from you.
I call it your digital billboard. It's the first thing people are going to see when they search you up. And with SEO and AI, like AI search engines, they'll go and they'll search things like Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, the most famous platforms, and they'll compile that information, and that's the first thing that people see. So if you're getting searched up and you meet somebody, they search you up and you're not coming up, or you don't have a presence online, it's hard for people to trust you because if you look at your account right now and you see someone follow you with no profile picture, what are you going to think?
Yeah. No, very
Like
true.
you're just gonna be like, okay,
Beginner stuff.
yeah.
So how could someone boost up how their platform looks? Instagram, for example, how could they make it look better so if someone looks at it, you're more trustworthy to a sense?
For the love of God, please have a profile picture. You'd be surprised at how
There's
many.
no way no one's watching not have a profile picture.
no,
if they
you-
do, shame on you.
You'd be surprised. Just please have a profile picture and have a bio. Your bio should be a couple sentences, no more than 3. It shouldn't be like entrepreneur, videographer. It should say your offer, your statement, right? Especially like, if for you, for example, your bio should read something along the lines of, I motivate high value men to find their best fitness, or like it's a straightforward, what do I need to know about you in 3 seconds?
Not like Beast of the Cold Tub.
No, unfortunately.
I was shivering the most out of us all. So I wish I could own that title. But I'm warmed up now.
Yeah, I was feeling a lot better. I got the quarter zip on. I can't complain. And he's
There
got
you
the
go.
hoodie.
The hoodie.
Yeah. No, you rocked it.
But I think that just having those basic things and then having posts that, like, it doesn't have to be, you post every single day. Now, would that be beneficial? Yes. But even if you post once a week for a year, that's still 52 posts, right? And 52 posts is enough to create a feed where people can go through and look and know who you're
Yeah,
about.
they could vet you with that.
Yeah, and that's the thing of like spending digital time together is they're spending time with you before you even hop on a phone, before you hop on anything else, and so they can learn about you before they walk into it.
Sure.
That makes a lot of sense. Is it more important with the new update on Instagram, how you can move everything around? Is it more important to have the most viewed videos at the top or the most value-based ones at the top of your page?
I always recommend pinning a who we are video or who we are carousel. I think that it's because you want to remove friction, right? Because again, friction's an interesting thing in marketing, but if you put too much friction, they're going to be like, I don't want to do this. You know, if it's too hard to sign up, they're going to be like, well, I'm not that committed. I don't care that much. But if it's too easy, they're going to be like, well, why was this easy? And you're going to get a bunch of dead leads.
People love easy and fitness, though.
Yeah, but they'll sign up on
GLP-1 me up.
Oh my God. But you'll see, they'll sign you up on, like, they'll sign up for things, and you'll see, that's where you see, like, 50 meetings on your calendar, and nobody's showing up to a meeting because it is too easy to set a meeting. So people just do it just to set whatever the next step is on your funnel.
Yeah.
So that's why I say friction's an interesting thing. But, like, having a who we are pinned carousel post, whatever it is, just what you want people to know about you and what establishes you and makes you different than everything else. Because fortunately and unfortunately, we're at a time where pretty much every business, unless you're working in patents or new technology, you have 50 choices to choose from, if not hundreds of choices to choose from. I mean, fitness too, you have, God, how many influencers online that are selling a course or selling a program or something like that. So you have to, in the shortest period of time, communicate with them with certainty of what makes you different. Because, I mean, the same thing with sales, it's just communicating certainty. Because if I were to tell you, right, hey, let me give you $1,000, or you give me $1,000, and you knew for a fact that I would come back tomorrow and give you $2,000, would you do it?
Right. $1 and $2 out all day.
Exactly. And so it comes down to communicating that certainty as fast as possible.
Got it.
And then I also recommend having a couple of your highest viewed posts will help create like a little bit of egos or create authority. I would say the other thing is stuff that really you think really resonates with your audience.
Yeah. I'm laughing because even big companies watching this can benefit from this stuff. Because, in honest, I think this stuff is unsexy.
Yeah.
Like, this is not fun stuff.
Not our area of expertise.
No.
But we enjoy.
Some people enjoy it, some people don't. Kudos to you. So on that topic, what had you dive into this industry at such a young age and go against the grain and start a marketing agency like you have?
Well, I always loved content and film to begin with. I had a friend in middle school, and we would make like little VFX movies in my basement.
VFX?
Yeah, like the VFX, like it's the visual effects. It was an app that was popular, and it was on like, I think it was like an iPhone 5 or 6 at the time. Okay. And it's probably the iPad actually. And we would like film, and then we'd add like, an explosion in the background, and they were terribly made and directed movies, but I absolutely loved doing it. And then going into the business side, I mean, again, with the PR answer and the real answer, my PR answer is I love what I do. My real answer is I also love the money that comes with it. I love the opportunity that it can buy you. And I think wholeheartedly, a lot of people say money can't buy happiness. And by itself, I don't think it can, but I think it can buy the environment to curate happiness. Because at the end of the day, I don't care what you say, you are not going to be very happy if a loved one or something comes in and says, hey, the difference between my treatment is a medical bill that nobody can pay for. You're not going to feel very happy then, and you're not going to feel very happy for a long period of time. But having the resources and having that ability to take care of the ones you love, having that ability to take care of, the people that you care about and create something, I think that's what pushes you to find happiness, because money's an amplifier. Mm-hmm. So, who you are without it is going to be amplified 100-fold to who you are with it. So,
amen to that.
I agree.
People definitely do need to make more money.
Yeah.
And people watching this podcast definitely love to make more money.
Oh, yeah. You want to talk about money value and theory? I'll talk about it all day. I love psychology, and I love that stuff that goes into
and
it.
21, man. That's awesome. Like, we're in a new age.
What was childhood like for you? Like, were you poor? Was your family wealthy? Were you middle class?
My childhood was interesting just because my parents are not from this country. So they came into this country. My dad went to school here, but my mom went to school in Myanmar, Yangon. And over there, medical school, it's not like, oh, I want to go to medical school. You have to test in, and the top 500 in the country get to apply to the school. So my mom worked her butt off, and she literally would tell me stories about how we had like a little hotel. It was like 2 extra rooms, and she would like cook for them. She would clean. She would take care of the family. Like they would all do their part in the family. And then on top of that, she would go and study, and she would, study the medical textbooks and study with her brothers and figure out a way to push herself through that. Mm-hmm. Then they came to the States, and, I don't know the entirety of the story from it, but I know that when they came to the States, my dad and his 4 siblings were kind of working together. They were all going to school at the time. And my mom, she came in and she had to redo residency because it's a international school. Mm-hmm. She studied medicine out of the States, so she had to redo a lot of that stuff. So a lot of my early childhood was my dad working from Chicago and kind of working over there, and my mom doing residency, which if anybody's ever been through the medical track, residency is not an easy thing to do, and it's an even harder thing to do with a kid.
Yeah.
And so growing up, it was kind of like it was me and my mom. My dad can visit when he can. It wasn't like struggle for everything. They worked their ass off to provide what they could. And then when my mom's career started going off, we started to get a little bit more settled into things. And so I got to grow up a little bit on, I got to grow up a little bit on both sides of like, I got to go to a really, really nice school. And at the same time, we lived in a not so nice area.
And do you feel like that was a benefit of your parents' story to help you kind of want to become an entrepreneur and just know, like, if they could do it, I can accomplish anything?
I think seeing the way that my mom works then and now, I mean, she's a doctor and she also works other jobs. Like she works a health director as a prison, and she works like crazy. And on top of that, every Sunday she comes back and she cooks us food. And so seeing the way that she has worked her entire life, it almost feels like a disservice for me to not do the same, because they put me in such a valuable and grateful position. I've gotten to do a lot of things. I've gotten to travel a lot. I've gotten to explore a lot, and I'm so grateful for it. And seeing them work their butts off to give me that, it would be it created this mindset of it would be a disservice for me not to work and create something the same.
Yeah. I feel like you could feel the emotion in your voice a little bit there talking about your mom. Yeah, are you pretty close to her?
Yes and no. I mean, she works a lot, so it's a little rough from time to time, just aligning schedules, especially the more that I grew up. And when she was in residency too, like those were 36-hour shifts. This is before they changed the regulations. So it was like we didn't get to spend much time together, but the time we did get to spend together was that much more valuable because of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I could just hear it in your voice. I could tell like you're passionate about it. You love her a lot, and you just appreciate both of them for all the sacrifices that they made to put you in a good position for life.
They worked their butts off, and I feel like I'm obligated to do the same.
That's going to be a good thing, especially when you have kids one day. I'm sure you'll teach them the same values and lessons.
Yeah, it's funny about that. I have a little notebook that I keep in my backpack, and it's just like a bunch of random notes and like lessons I've learned that I just jot down. And the theory of it comes down to at least I can give something to my children of like, hey, here's me making these dumb mistakes and me being an idiot, right? Don't do the same. And so it's just like, if you ever read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, that's where I got the inspiration from. It's just a book of his thoughts, and it wasn't supposed to be a book. He just wrote down every single day, and he was like, this is a thought of mine. And they're super sporadic. It's an amazing book to read. But it's just like thoughts about like willpower and thoughts about like, just the human psyche and things like that. And so it's, in a sense, that.
Okay. So on the topic of random, in a world of AI and algorithms, how do you create content to actually get shown to the people that you want? I think you're a specialist in this area, but I feel like that's not, is it all AI now? Can you just rely on outside forces, or how do you know, based on the content piece you created, it's going to get shown to the right people? Is there a way to do that?
I think that's a two-pronged question in the sense of, if it's all AI now, I wholeheartedly disagree. I think that people now more than ever are yearning for authenticity. And that's where you're seeing a lot of these brands that aren't these perfect brands online anymore. Like I think of the funny thing like Pine Sol, Brita, Nutter Butter. If you see some of the content they post, it's nothing to do with the brand, and it's actually stupid stuff, but it got people talking about it again.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a little bit away from authenticity because they're just like funny cat videos. Brita does like they have like a whole song, and it's like drink from the Brita, but it's just stuff that's like entertaining, but it's also stuff that's like, okay, well, you know, this isn't like a like. It's not all so serious, and I feel like people can resonate with that. I also feel like people buy into people, not products. Especially now when every product can be copied so easily. Yeah. Every service can be copied. People will buy into the people around you.
Yeah. We always say in our industry, people buy coaches, not coaching.
Exactly.
There's plenty of different products to buy into. You can buy any fitness plan, but who do you want to put your trust and faith in?
Exactly. And I think that's a great point in the sense of like, so I played football, I wrestled, I fought a little bit of MMA. The coaches, I got to learn from a lot of coaches, and the best coaches, like you can tell the difference immediately when you walk on the mat. You can tell the difference. Like we talk about this all the time. Like you can tell how a place feels based off of the coaches, and I think that they make or break pretty much everything because it's like, I'm not just buying into what you know, I'm buying into your values, you as a person. I'm spending time with you. And coaching is a little bit more of an intimate thing where it's like, you know, we are creating a relationship, and do I really want to surround myself with that person? And so that's where authenticity really, really succeeds, is because like, hey, like this guy's not just the perfect, you know, sculpted body, amazing physique, and then like everything online is perfect. You know, he has his own struggles. He's worked through his own stuff. Like, he's dealt with that stuff before, and that's the type of person I want to spend time with.
That's the relatability. Yeah. You know what? I like that answer, Sam, because I'm kind of anti-AI. I feel like it's making us dumb. People are using it for all the wrong things. I feel like they're using it to think for them. And I'm like, man, that's how I want to have that creative difference, is still use my brain. And not lean on it to do all the thinking for me.
Yeah, and I think, again, AI should be used as a catalyst, not as a like solution. Like it should be used to expedite your ability to create the system. It should be used to expedite your ability to pretty much do anything, and it can be used as a good knowledge base, but it should never be, you know, this is the solution to something.
Do you think with AI, I feel since AI has become so big, streaming has become massive. And is that probably because of the authenticity, where a lot of these people do live streaming 24/7? You're like in their world to know what's going on.
Yeah, I think that's exactly why that has become such a craze, is because streaming is so like imperfect. Like it's not scripted. It's not, you know, we're setting up cameras. I mean, even here, we're having a conversation, but we set up the cameras, we set up the lights, we set up all of this stuff. And it, like, you can feel authenticity through the phone. I firmly believe this. You can feel if somebody's being real. And streaming is one of those things where, you know, you could feel like, hey, this is the real person. Yeah. And the other thing with streaming is it creates something to buy into. And I think that people need that, especially brands. They're realizing this more. Is streaming, it's like, okay, well, you know, there's, even though it is authentic, there are still characters. There's still a storyline. If you look at any good stream, there's characters, there's a storyline, like there's conflict in it. Like there are all these things that make up a story, and they make up, you know, hey, let me get committed to the character. Okay, well, there's conflict, right? Yeah. How did they go through the conflict? And whether that conflict is, you know, a conversation with somebody, whether that conflict is like, oh my God, we just got kicked out of a club, like blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like, whatever it is, they follow that same path of a story. And so you kind of get invested of like, oh my God, this is the character. This was the setup. This is the conflict. Is it going to do well? Is this going to happen? Is this going to happen? And then the ending. And I think that incorporating that into the way that you create content going into storytelling is the way to succeed the most right now.
Got it. And that sounds pretty complex from an owner's perspective. That's why people can hire someone like you, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm big on, with all of my clients, we're here to emphasize you. We're not here to restructure everything. We find what makes you relatable. We find what makes you unique, and we just put a spotlight on those points. We put a camera and a spotlight on there.
Got it. So
That's
when you're
more simple.
Yeah, when you're creating content for the clients, what metrics do you measure that actually matter? Is it like the views? Is it the followers? Like what actually matters?
Yeah, no, for real.
I think now more than ever, followers don't matter. And I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but it's interesting to see, especially platforms like TikTok. TikTok is crazy with this, but if you look at your analytics, you'll see, like, at least for what we've posted, we're in like the 90% of non-followers are seeing content. Like, your followers aren't seeing your content anymore. With the way that algorithms are set up and with the way that feeds are set up, I mean, if you pull up Instagram right now and start scrolling, you'll see an ad, you'll see somebody you might know, and then you'll see maybe a post of a follower.
Yeah.
It's gotten so good at deciding what you would like to see that it kind of following doesn't really matter as much, because the feed will decide. So I think that followers, people put a lot of value into it, and there's a good authenticity point or authority point to it, but I think that it's becoming decreased in value. I think that retention and watch time are your two best friends. Like, how can I keep them? How can I get them to watch, and how can I get them to watch for as long as possible? Because it goes back to that commitment thing we were talking about of, we want to kind of stage them through those steps of commitment of, if they watch for 5 seconds, they'll watch for we can get them to watch another 10. They watch for 10, they'll watch for another 30. They watch for 30 seconds, they might give you an email if you give the value good enough. If they can give you an email, they're already committed to maybe having a conversation if what you gave them was value,
Yeah.
So it's just taking them through that step.
That makes a lot of sense, because I've seen, whenever I looked at my Instagram analytics, a lot of the times people that are watching my content are just non-followers, like 80% non-followers. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. If someone's following you, wouldn't most of your followers see it? But like you said, with the algorithm, I guess it doesn't matter as much. Maybe they're trying to push it out to get you in front of new people for new followers. But that was just something I was always curious of. It's like, does any of the analytics really even matter anymore, or is it more important to just produce good content that your ideal client wants to see, and just keep doing that over and over and over, no matter what the analytics say?
Yeah, especially, like 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, you could throw like 30 hashtags on a video and like you'd be like, oh yes, we can rank. But now, like, I've had videos that we don't even throw a description on. I mean, there's benefits to having a description and having a caption, because platforms will go through and categorize. But we don't even throw a description on them, and those videos outperform some of the other ones. So I think that the actual content matters significantly more than anything else. And I feel like people like to major in the minors. They like to be like, oh my God, I have to do this amount of hashtags, and oh my God, I have to scroll on TikTok for 15 minutes a day so TikTok doesn't know I'm a bot. Yeah. And like, these are all details that could help, but they're all minor details. If your content sucks, it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
And that's the harsh reality that a lot of people don't like to keep their head around.
All right, so give us a content roadmap for 2026. If you had to develop just a game plan right now for someone that's like, man, I got to get in the content game, or I got to get better at the content game, what can they do through the rest of the year?
I'd say your first 30 days should just be volume. Get used to getting through the workflows, because the biggest thing that stops a lot of people is that burnout of like, oh my God, this is hard. Oh, I can just skip a post for today, and then I'll skip another post, and then all of a sudden you haven't posted in 2 weeks.
That's me.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, just volume. Because if I can do 30 posts, again, the guy that says 30 posts a day for 30 days, if I can do that, I can scale down the volume, right? You figure out, okay, how efficiently can I write a script, record a piece of content, and go, right? And so the first thing would just be focusing on that volume. I'd say the second step would then be to start to find your outliers. Find out which videos did well, and test what made them different. Whether it's the hook, whether it's you change the body, whether it's the length of the video, find out what is doing good and repeat. Like, we talk about this with clients. It's okay to repost old videos. It's okay to take a video, take a concept that people may not have ever seen, or people have seen on your platform, and say it, but in a different format. Because not all of your followers were the same followers they were 6 months ago. right? So you might be at 29K followers, 30K followers, and those 30K, maybe they saw half the video, or maybe half of them saw a video and then half of them didn't. So you reformatting them shows them to the other half. So I would find your outliers and repost them or really double down on them. Mm-hmm. And from there, keep that consistency going. You'll start to learn a lot about the content game and your own workflows. I think that in itself would get you to around that 10K mark. And before 10K followers, strategy is more about testing things than it is about implementing. Well, I want to be able to sell this. I want to be able to put value into this. I want to be able to create this. It's more about, can I put something out there first? Then once you get there, you'll start to have a little feel of things. And from 10K to 100K, that's when you start to dial down your actual strategy of content. What do people actually watch me for? What type of value can I provide to these people? And what type of value are they looking for? And that's where I think that we see a lot of interrupt, because we work a lot between that 1K to 10K, and then we change up the strategy, and all of a sudden they're like, well, that's working. And it's like, what gets you from 0 to 100 is not going to get you from 100 to 1,000.
It's like a business.
Yeah.
The strategy that gets you from your first dollar to your first 100,000 isn't going to be the same of how to get to 100,000 to $1 million,
Yeah.
and then $1 million to 10 million. Like, the strategy has to change.
And if you want the simplest answer I can give you, if you're in that 0 to 10 range, just post. I don't care what it is. You can niche down. You can figure that out. Just throw a post out there, and throw posts out there consistently. If you're at that 10K to 100K range, that's when you could start to niche down and be like, okay, these are the target people that I'm looking for. I have some authority. I can start to kind of curate content for them. Nice. That's also when you have more resources to create strategies.
Yeah.
So
that makes total sense. What's a hot take in the marketing space that you don't agree with? What do other coaches say that you're just like, I don't think that's true?
I think that it's not necessarily in the marketing space, but I think a lot in the agency space is you find a lot of people that are trying to make the most cinematic content possible, have the nicest cameras, and have the most amazing setup possible.
Like
but,
this one here?
Yeah. I trust me, I love my gear. But for some people, and it discourages them, because, you know, when you have to spend stupid amounts of money on gear, you're like, oh my God, like what? And you really don't need that. Mm-hmm. You need a good light or a lamp, a phone right now. So a phone can outperform a lot of cameras, and an idea. And that's it. Like, you don't need this complex strategy when you're first starting.
Yeah.
You just need to start.
Yeah, I would totally believe that. We know people that just point and shoot, just talk to the camera all day, and they outperform all the videos that we post, and you could use the nicest equipment, the nicest cameras, and you could get 500 views.
Yeah. And so I feel like a lot of agencies trying to sell this. Like, obviously, when it comes to branding and when it comes to that strategy, you want to put yourself out in that best light, and building authority, especially in stuff like podcasts and personal brands, comes with building quality. But people get stuck too much into it. I also think people just try to, again, perfect everything. And I have it literally tatted on my forearm. I have it placed everywhere around the business. Progress, not perfection. It is more important to take one step forward than it is to perfect every step that you take.
I like that.
Simple.
Yeah.
A little complex and a composite, little simplicity. A little bit of both.
Yeah.
I'll cap it off with this. What is the biggest piece of advice that you could give to people at home starting making content to help them just change the trajectory of what they can accomplish by the end of the year?
Don't be so worried about what other people are going to say or to think, because you will never be judged by somebody doing more than you, only somebody doing less. I think that it's a belief I've had for a while, where the people who are doing more than you, the people who are making more than you, no millionaire is going to judge somebody for starting a business and getting their first sale. No bodybuilder is going to judge somebody for showing up to the gym even if their body's not perfect. You know, nobody who has created something is going to be the one judging you. It's only going to be the people that are envious of you that are the ones that are throwing those shots. So if you want to be out there, be your most authentic self. If you want to create content that not only you enjoy to create, but that shows who you are. It doesn't have to be amazing. It doesn't have to be perfect to start out, but it should be you.
Yeah. I freaking love that. I think on our last podcast, someone said something similar along the context of what you said, that people that are ahead of you are usually never the ones that will judge you. It's always the people that are doing less than you or wish they were doing what you were doing are going to be the ones that are going to judge you. 100%. So you have to be careful of who you take judgment, criticism, anything from, because most of the time people aren't going to criticize you if they're ahead of you. They might give you some advice of saying, hey, I would change this. You're doing a great job, but maybe change this. But I think that's the thing. Most people get in their own heads and stop because a friend or a family member says, hey, your stuff isn't good. I don't like it. And then they just stop because it's just discouraging to them.
Yeah. And I think that delusion's an amazing thing. I think that the more that you can, because something that has not been done before is going to seem impossible. It's always going to seem impossible because it hasn't been done. Just like 100 years ago, if I told you that I had this camera set up and I told you I had any of this stuff, they'd be like, what are you talking about? They'd be like, what camera can shoot in 4K? They wouldn't even know what 4K meant, right? And then somebody created it and made it possible. And so being delusional and thinking of things that people are like, oh, it's not possible, or it's not like probable, it's not going to work. I think that's the best mindset to go into everything, because it's not going to work if you don't believe it's going to work.
Yeah.
It's the high achieving way.
Makes me think of the 4-minute mile. First person to ever run a mile under 4 minutes. No one thought it was ever possible. All of a sudden, one person did it. Then a couple days later, multiple people did it. Because it's like that belief of like, wait, you can run a mile under a minute? There's no way. That was never possible before. And then all of a sudden, everybody was able to start doing it.
Exactly. People get into their heads more than they think, because your perception is half of your reality. How you perceive things is half of...
Yeah, buddy.
It's half of how everything is. And so, like, if I walk around and I'm like, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, it's your brain actually, there's a psychological study, you reaffirm your bias. So, like, if I walk around and say, I can't do this, then in my head, I'm going to find every piece of evidence that says I can't do this. And same the opposite way. They actually, I don't remember the exact study, but they did a study on children, and they went up to children and they were like, hey, I love how kind and how caring you are, or I love how kind and how patient you are. And even though these aren't behaviors that were at first being shown in the child identified themselves as, okay, because as a person of authority, they identified themselves as, okay, I'm kind, I'm caring. And so all of a sudden their behavior shifts without them even intentionally doing it. So I think it applies the same for everybody else.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. That bit came from Keaton, by the way.
Yeah.
On the couches. Yeah. Saying most people judging the shit out of you are the ones that are envious anyways. They're below you. But he said every once in a while, if there is someone that you do look up to and you do respect that's giving you feedback, frickin' listen. It's not going to happen near as often, but when it does happen, perk up.
100%. It's the difference between criticism and judgment, where it's like criticism is, hey, I'm doing this for your best interest, and judgment is, I'm doing this for a selfish reason.
Yeah.
And I think that criticism is something where you got to put your ego aside and be like, all right, you know what, I'm not as good as I thought I was. But judgment is one of those things where it's like, I am as good as I think I am.
Yeah. And here's a hot take. That's what makes a good entrepreneur. Being able to take not just criticism, but constructive criticism. Putting the ego aside and saying, hey, I will listen to you and I will be receptive, and not puff up your chest and saying, well, this and that.
Yeah.
It's easy to defend ourselves, our minds, our defensive mechanisms. We want to protect ourselves.
I could not agree more.
It's tough to feel attacked.
Yeah.
I love it. I've learned to welcome the shit out of constructive criticism, because at our age, well, you're a little younger than us. You got
a decade on us.
Yeah. But it's like to stay a sponge to life. That's how you really grow.
You have
If you
to
think
stay.
you're good at anything, it's like you're not going to accomplish the next rank. If you go from 1 to 10,000 and you're like, dude, I'm the only one in my town that's got 10,000 followers. Let's go. If you've got a goal to get to 100, it's going to be a lot slower path to get there than if you were like, dude, I suck.
100%. And you have to be able to stay a student of everything. Like, I feel like not a lot of people are comfortable enough with saying, I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to figure it out. And I think that for me, whether it's an ego thing or whether it's I don't know what it is, but I am very uncomfortable knowing less than somebody. I think it is an ego thing. I always want to learn something. Like I always want to know. I hate not knowing anything, you know? And I mean, Ethan brought it up yesterday. Like that type of hatred has got me skills that I like look back now and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even realize how many skills I've added just because of my spite for I can't have that person know more than me.
And some people go to crazy lengths. Look at a guy like Elon Musk. The guy barely functions well in public environments because he's just a nerd, man. He's good at his craft.
Yeah.
People make fun of his body. People make fun of his social habits, but it's like that's a choice.
Yeah.
Even coming from bodybuilding, you hyper focus on a physique. People in our worst state of condition, people will be like, "Man, you're shredded," and you're kind of chuckling underneath your breath, like, "Really, dude? Like, what kind of standards you got? You think I'm shredded right now?
Yeah.
I'm at my biggest." But it's like your definition of success in the bodybuilding world is crazy stupid.